Hypixel Skyblock is a game full of unique and different weapons. It's understandable that more well-known weapons take centre stage, overshadowing a lot of potentially great weapons. You just simply wouldn't expect an 8 million coin weapon to be able to pull off a feat like that. Today we take a look at a weapon that's gone under the radar for a very long time, and that is the Ink Wand. For just 8 million coins you can get a weapon that can go toe to toe with some of the greatest mobs in the game. Mini bosses, no issue. Pub zombies, easy peasy. For 8 million coins or a stack of enchanted ink sacks and a stick, you can get your hands on this weapon. But what makes this weapon so good? Well, really, you're only in it for the right click ability. And that ability shoots an ink bomb in front of you, dealing a certain amount of damage and giving blindness. And because of this ability, this weapon is basically a mage weapon. As demonstrated at the start of this video, this weapon can quite easily, with not really an amazing setup and not amazing magical power, one-hit Svens. Sure, you could turn to a different weapon like a Fire Veil, which number 1 wouldn't do as much damage in one hit, and number 2 costs way more coins. But we'll get to that later in the video. In order to demonstrate how powerful this weapon really is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a lesser mage setup than I have, lower my magical power, and show you that this can still one-hit Svens. But don't get me wrong, Svens isn't the only use for this weapon. It can also kill tier 4 tarantulas with ease, although at this point, realistically, if you just had a feather and brushed it across the tier 4 boss, it would also probably die, so it's not a great achievement. But it can also assist in the Crimson Isles when you need to deal a lot of one-hit damage, or even mini-bosses in dungeons. Let's see how good this weapon really is. But first, make sure to use code NITROS if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store. It gets yourself 5% off. Also, you should subscribe to the channel, it does help out a lot. And you should also join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We offer services like Dungeon and Slayer carries, or even if you want to carry Dungeons or Slayers, make some coins, get in the server. Anyway, let's say one tapping a tier 4 Sven is the benchmark. We need to deal 2 million damage in one hit. First of all, we're going to test out a Wise Dragon set. So we've purchased a set including just simple shadow goggles. This has cost us probably around about 5 million coins. We've put the necessities like growth and protection 5, and we've also made the set necrotic. You don't need to do this, you could simply just get the Wise Reforged and then they would be very wise. Anyway, the aim of this set is just simply get pretty much as much mana as we possibly can. So I'm also going to use a level 100 legendary sheep. I think they're around about 10 million coins. It's obviously important to have your accessory bag reforged to, well, sighted or bizarre for intelligence. And that is what we've got here. Now, of course, we have a lot of magical power. Holding our Ink Wand, we have just less than 3.2k intelligence, and just using this very cheap setup, we're going to see basically if we can one-tap a tier 4 Sven. Also, I just thought I'd mention that this Ink Wand has Heroic on it, and it doesn't have any enchantments, because realistically we only need the right-click ability, and yeah, that's basically it. I think before our Storm set we were doing around about 4.8 million damage. Oh my god, it's on 23k, so we didn't actually quite one-tap it, which is... I don't know, I thought it might have, but still, it did like 1.997 million. So even you just using Wise Dragon Armor, you can almost one-tap a Sven, do 2 million damage with an Ink Wand, which just kind of sounds a bit crazy. However, let's say, for instance, that you got an upgraded armor set. So let's say you have a Storm set, and you've also got a Wither Goggles there as well. Now, we're going to keep the sheep pet the same, and we're going to see sort of how much damage we deal now. And then with this Storm set, we're going to see how low we can get our magical power and still be able to one-tap. So, that should be cool. Okay, so... Okay, I did not see the damage at all, but we can definitely one-tap. So we can go lower on the magical power. Okay, we lowered our magical power to 884 this time. Okay, and now we're going to see if we can one-tap this Sven. Okay, hopefully I can get a direct hit. There we go. We can still one-hit it. Okay, I guess our magical power can get lower again. Okay, we've took our magical power down to 742. Okay, let's try this once more if our Sven will... What is it doing, man? What's it? No, we can still one-tap it. Okay, we need to put our magical power down a lot more. Honestly, Storm Armor's kind of carrying. Okay, now our magical power is 582, and let's see if we can still one-tap. Okay, it's time to try this again, I guess. Let's not miss. Oh, we can still one-tap by quite a bit. Okay, we need to put our magical power down even more. Alright, we have 434 magical power. Surely we can't one-tap at this point? I don't know. Okay, here we go. We can still one-tap. I'm not going to go any further. I kind of proved my point here. I have like 400 magical power and we can still one-tap Svens. Granted, fair enough, this Storm set is still too much. You don't need this. You don't need Wisdom 5, you don't need Growth and Protection 6. It doesn't need to be recombobulated. It probably doesn't even need the gemstones. And at this magical power, if you have this 8 million coin weapon, you can one-tap Svens. And like I said before, it isn't just Svens. There's so many more uses. However, I must say there are a couple of downsides to the Ink Wand. The first one being the fact that this ability that you actually use is on a 30-second cooldown, so if you miss your ink sac, then you're not going to have another one for 30 seconds. I guess just get good. However, that isn't really an issue. I mean, it depends how you're using it. For Slayers, realistically, it's going to take you 30 seconds to spawn the next Slayer, unless you're doing Tarantula, in which it's going to take you about 2 seconds. Now, earlier I mentioned a Fire Veil wand and how that could basically be a contender. Okay, well, number one, the Fire Veil wand is around about 10 million coins more expensive, and I guess we're just going to test it out to see if it really is better. I mean, what you could do is use a combination if you don't quite do the damage, but let's just test this on its own. Now, to give my best chance of actually one-hitting with this setup, I've got the Storm on. We've got full magical power now, almost 1.2k. We've got our G-Dragon as well. For those of you who don't know, the Fire Veil wand ability, you right-click and it basically does tick damage for 5 seconds. That's pretty much it. Okay, now using the Fire Veil, 1.17 doesn't one-tap because it goes into the next phase and it takes slightly longer. Don't get me wrong, that was still ridiculously quick. But realistically, you're probably going to straight up struggle with one-tapping with a Fire Veil one, whereas the Ink Wand, you're going to have a lot easier time. I'm not slamming the Fire Veil wand at all. This is a ridiculously good weapon for the price. There's so many uses, one of the most versatile items on the game, and pretty much a necessity for most players. All I'm saying is this is a very, very good option for 8 mil. You also have to consider that the Fire Veil wand and the Ink Wand are completely different weapons. Of course, the main reason to use a Fire Veil wand is for the tick damage, and of course the Ink Wand is purely for that one hit damage with the right-click ability. In that sense, it may be a little bit unfair to compare the two weapons. However, they're about the similar price, and in terms of Svens and Slayers, I guess they could sort of be used in a very similar way. Either way, both very, very good options for the price. But especially for the Ink Wand not really requiring a great setup around it, I just think it gives it that edge. Anyway, let me know what you think to the Ink Wand in the comments. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.